We are here. Welcome. I don't know why I looked down when you said there was 1 second left. Hello, everyone. It is a special Tuesday edition of the Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk show. We are here, and this is a special day.
Yep.
It's Tuesday. I'm here, Andy Kretzinger, Hunter Moeller, co-host.
I'm here.
Nick Steffens on the ones and twos.
Yeah.
It's a special day for a lot of reasons. One, I forgot my laptop, but whatever. Two, it's Tuesday. Give me a hoo-ha 2 times Tuesday. Do you remember that commercial? Do you remember that commercial, Nick? Thumbs up?
No.
And then the guy goes, hoo-ha. Whatever.
Hoo-ha.
That's Rudy Tuesdays. And 3, this is our special first annual Thanksgiving special.
Yeah.
So as you see, we're wearing our Thanksgiving colors, maroon and Kansas City Chiefs red, all ready for the season. And guys, I brought us a feast today.
Yeah.
So check this out.
He said.
I'll have a turkey.
Yep.
But I have some breadsticks from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, not technically one of our sponsors, but just go ahead and tell Matt to charge him because we just said on the things to charge him for the advertisement. We got breadsticks. I'm going to divvy them up a little bit, and we're going to eat some breadsticks on the show today because this is our Thanksgiving feast. I'm going to try not to spill because I know that other people use this table. If you're watching us,
what do you think Matt's thinking? Just if he's watching this, he's like,
I don't think he was in there pretty busy. I don't know if he was watching. But we're gonna eat some breadsticks today. They're a little bit cold because I got them from Pizza Hut like 2 hours ago, and I've just been kind of sitting around. And we got some marinara sauce, so we're gonna divvy these out. This is Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk, a show where besides feasting on some breadsticks, we talk about high school sports, college sports in Southeast Iowa. We got a big show today because we're on the heels of some big football action. If you're watching this, you're watching on Washington Live's YouTube, Mount Pleasant Live's Facebook, Washington Live's Facebook, Fairfield Live's Facebook, or Spotify, Washington Live, or you could be listening to it. So 2 o'clock on Wednesdays, it's a special, we pulled a little April Fools on Thanksgiving by doing it on Tuesday. Hunter's got a big trip tomorrow, right? Where are you going, Hunter?
Tonight, I'm heading to Kansas City tonight, so I figured it'd be better if we moved it today instead of just saying, hey, or I guess I could like call in. I guess that's like kind of the last resort, or making you do it by yourself. But I didn't want you to
myself.
Be like, hey, yeah, I'm here in spirit, but over the phone or something like that.
Yeah,
but
if that ever happens, we'll just throw Nick and we'll throw the camera on Nick.
Oh yeah, that would be too bad.
I'm trying to intro us while I get our feast ready here. But let's jump into some football action, Hunter, because you and I on the smell of the marinara just hit me. You and I on Thursday morning, 9:30, Waco Warriors were in the state championship, the first ever state championship, I believe, in Waco football history. In fact, Waco team sport history, I think, because they had never gotten past the semifinals. 38-16, Rims and St. Mary's, a game that I think you think would have been closer without just a flurry of errors at the beginning of the game. And what did you think? What did you learn? And are there any? How are you feeling now, a few days later after watching that game?
I mean, overall, you got to be, ecstatic for, the coaching staff, players of Waco, because, I mean, this is the farthest they've ever made it. I mean, you can't, deny that. It's kind of like, Coach Edeker said after the win, we lost, we got 1 loss, but we got 13 others. No other state or no one else in the state has, that many wins, and, they celebrated the 13. So you got to be happy for just getting there. But, like you said, I mean, overall that second half they played, extremely well. Obviously in the first half, just a couple of mistakes put them down, big early, and they trailed 24-3 at the half, and they marched down right before the half and 2 yards out, and they fumbled, and they could have went in the halftime, only down 10-24. So that first half just kind of, I guess, right out the gate, that first drive they had a punt there, a little quick 3 and out, and just kind of set the tone. After that, what they had, there was a strip fumble. Remsen scored a touchdown off that blocked punt. The fumbles, but in that second half, I mean, it was neck and neck. So it just makes you wonder from that standpoint of what it would have been like if they didn't have those kind of miscues in the beginning. But Remsen played well. I mean, you can't deny they made big plays.
Real talented.
I mean, they were rated number 1 all season long for a reason. So I mean, can't deny that. But kudos to Waco for making it that far. We didn't have any other team make it that far, and they were the last ones there.
Yeah, we haven't had any team make it this far for 4 or 5 years now. I would say so. By the way, if you didn't watch it on the Sports Network or follow our tweets, and you don't want to pay however much it is to watch it replay on the Sports Network, or $1 to buy a paper for the day, you could have done that, guys. Come on. There were 4 big mistakes as far as there was a fumble at the goal line, which Loudon Housingay had just had a big run.
Yep.
We were just talking right before the fumble, and unfortunately he's the one who gave that one up, to where once he started running up the middle, the offense started to flow a little better because it wasn't doing very well at the beginning of the game.
Well, and the fumble, it was almost like a bad situation for him because he was rolled over on top of a couple players, and it kind of allowed him to strip it. It kind of allowed him to strip it out, instead of he couldn't get, an arm, his, elbow down or knee down. So that it was just a bad situation because he was moving the ball for him up and up. We were talking about Loudon going up the middle for 5-6 yards every play, every time they were giving it to him. So
that was the play that we were talking on the sideline. That's the play we want to see is him at the middle, and he set him up to get there. So that was a fumble, which was inside the 5.
Yep.
There was also
high snap
punt on the punt. Went over Simeon Reichenbach's head, and he couldn't. He corralled it. That set up a touchdown for Remsen St. Mary's. And there was a block punt, which set up a touchdown, got Remsen St. Mary's at the 9. This is all in the first half.
This is all in less than 2 minutes of play though. The punts were back to back. So.
And then there was also a situation where I don't know if it was a bull rush blitz or a guy just on the defensive line got loose after Waco just had a huge stop at the goal line. Odie Shepanchuk stopped a kid right at the goal line there. What was that? Was it 6-0 at that point?
I believe so. They tried going for it on about fourth and goal, but it was from probably about the 3-yard line, and Odie met Fisk, I think it was the running back's name, who had a huge game.
4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, huge game. But Odie made a nice play over there on the right next to the goal line, right about the 1-yard line, hit him out of bounds. Yeah,
right where one of us, at least I was standing.
Yeah.
And so that was and so then Waco got the ball back, and I think it was a handoff play, and Isaac Oswald hadn't
literally handing
the ball
it off,
yet. And a kid hit him and got his arm, and that turned into a fumble. It turned into a walk-in touchdown, but the guy that scooped him up. So that was 4 scores that were plays that almost never happened to Waco.
Yep.
Just uncharacteristic, not uncharacteristic, a little unlucky that it just kind of happened. 4 huge swing plays that all went Remsen St. Mary's. That's 4 touchdowns, And the second half, it was a 14-13.
Yeah, well, and, this is something, Coach Edeker talked about was, they felt like the defense was doing pretty well, which they were doing well against, everyone was talking about the Remsen pass game and, but, we were talking about the Remsen pass game a lot, and their run game was dang good. Well,
it was.
Well, looking at the second half, what kind of set the tone that. I don't know if you could call it the nail in the coffin because it was right out the gate with their running back, like a 40-yard touchdown, literally second play from scrimmage or first play from scrimmage or whatever. So that was kind of just it felt like, Waco knew that they could stop them, and then they came out with 2 plays in and just ran, like I said, 45-yard touchdown or something like that. So that was that hurt a lot too for any momentum or kind of hype they had coming out of the locker room there at the half. Yeah,
it was 24-0. Simeon Reichenbach had a 48-yard field goal, bombed it, and then and Coach Edeker said after the game, he thought that going into the second half, if they could get a stop, score, and make it 24-10, then it's a totally different ball game. And I thought between the tackles, I don't know what total yards were. We knew the other day, but it was very close. Between the tackles, I thought they were pretty even. The game flow, besides those 4 big plays, they were pretty even. So if they could have just kind of stopped there, but then you're pressing a little bit. You know that you're down in the state championship game, and so I think both of St. Mary's touchdowns were kind of a little bit of that in the second half, where missed tackles and stuff like that. So, but I thought also talking to the kids, we talked to a couple kids after the game, Simeon Reichenbach and Drew Deers. Drew Deers had how many tackles? He ended up with over 100 tackles on the year.
Yeah, he had 17, 20, somewhere in that range, close to 20.
Yeah. I thought that they both, and Coach Edeker too, I got the sense that they kind of knew, what they had done, if they'd went to the state championship. That wasn't lost on them, even with the loss, in my opinion, when we were talking about
this Waco team will be remembered, historically.
It's a legacy
Waco,
team. It's a legacy team. So overall, it was such an exciting season for them.
Yeah.
It's too bad it didn't totally work out the other day, but it was fun couple of games up there and fun season. It's crazy that we're going right into winter sports. And actually, Coach Edeker was asking about all union teams, which should be coming out.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the end of next week would be when they start rolling out. And I told him we always wait for the last team to get knocked out before we get our little all-star teams together. And we had to wait until last Thursday.
Yep.
So we got it's going to be a packed paper. But anyway, so that's kind of does it on our Waco State coverage.
Football and
It's fun. We'll talk about All-State football after the break. Spoiler alert. As I dish out the plates for this Thanksgiving feast, and don't worry, Nick, I have one for you too. Hunter, I've got a breadstick for you with some marinara sauce there.
Hey, thanks for that.
It's a little bit cold, but we're all right. We're gonna go to a commercial. 2 minutes or one, Nick? Two. 2 minute commercial. Chuck Woolery used to say, "See you in 2 and 2, 2 minutes, 2 seconds." So I mentioned that a few weeks ago, maybe. Anyway, see you in 2 minutes, and we'll talk some more football.
Yep.
Federation Bank is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone. I was just flabbergasted because, Hunter, you just finished the first breadstick like that, and I got to serve you up another one. We're back on our Thanksgiving special.
I'm all right.
eating some Thanksgiving food here, breadsticks from... we shouldn't say their name unless they're going to pay for the ad. So Pizza Hut, give us a little money, and we'll say your name on the show. Thanks for sticking around with the commercial. You're watching Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk live. It is Tuesday, November something. Pretty close to Thanksgiving. It's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. We're doing us on a Tuesday today.
Wait, you got a little garlic.
Got something on my face apparently. Well, that's part of Thanksgiving. You know what? We just talked about a little football here on Sports Talk, and we got some more football. Actually, some breaking news, basically. The All-State football teams came out, Hunter. Before I read those off, though, you made a good point during the commercial. Yeah. Along with Waco, there are a lot of familiar teams up there at the Dome, right?
Yeah, well, all our teams that made it to that basically quarterfinal round, lost to the state championships or state champions. Columbus got beat by Grundy Center, and Sigourney Keota lost to Van Meter, and both went on to win the state title. So, looking at that, our team played some pretty good teams, I guess you could say.
They both kind of rolled too, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. I had pulled.
Mid Prairie also played Williamsburg, by the way. Williamsburg made a huge run.
Oh yeah. Williamsburg was in the state title, lost 10-6 to Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock. Grundy Center beat West Hancock 27-0. And then Van Meter beat West Sioux 35-7. So pretty dominant.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool thing there. Yeah. So well deserved to all the people who made the All-State teams. This is by the Iowa Print Sports Writer. Full on disclosure, neither of us voted. We're in the meeting.
Nope.
Happens on Sunday during church usually. But sometimes I'm in on them, sometimes I'm not. Wasn't this weekend. But we're still pretty well represented, 15 kids from our all-union teams, and that's especially impressive, Hunter, because it used to be 3 teams, and they cut it to 2 teams. I believe, I would speculate, probably has something to do with the fact there's another class this year. And so, right?
Yeah, I would say so. we had a lot of standout players, and our area, the Union area, is represented well. I guess once again we always have good football talent down here. So and representation is no different this year. So
for sure, there were. We'll start with 8-man. There were 5 from Sigourney Keota and 4 from Waco that lead the way. We'll start with 8-man here because Waco had 4 first teamers, and we were just talking about the Warriors. Simeon Reichenbach on his running back. Colton Lichty, defensive line, linebacker Drew Deers, and defensive back Mason Miller. Those are all first team, all 8-man. So Sigourney Keota had 5 total, 1 first team and 4 second team, but Waco had 4 first team. So both, I tried to make them share the headline because that was a really impressive thing. All seniors for Waco made that first team, and then the only other 8-man player on there, Cam Buffington, junior from WME. He was on as a defensive utility, which he kind of is because he's just flies around the.
Yeah, which you can almost throw him in both ways because he's so dominant on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you could
pick or choose. Which one.
Yeah, this will be when we get our all-union football team. That's another thing that we have to deal with too, is just trying to figure out because they all play both ways.
Right.
Where are you going to put them?
Right.
And we'll go down to Class A, and this will be a good example. Columbus had 3.
Yep.
Tristan Miller made it as a returner on the first team, which he had. 600 something return yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 each punting and returning. And then Columbus also had Jeffrey Hoback made it as a punter. So they had 2 of the special team spots. And Caden Amagon, of course, is running back. And Hoback and Amagon were both second teamers. So that was impressive out of Columbus. Class 1A, Sigourney Keota had 5, I said earlier. Jake Moore on as a defensive back on the first team. Second team, Cole Clarahan's running back, Evan Vitito on the offensive line, Jack Clarahan on the linebacker position, and then Cole Kindred, much like Buffington, was a defensive utility. So 3 juniors on that for Sigourney Keota, so they have plenty to look forward to after almost making the state. And then we had Max Wheaton on the Class 3A first team for Fairfield. He had another huge year for them. He's been all-state 3 years, possibly 4th. I should have probably looked that up to see if he got there as a freshman because he's been a huge part of their team since the beginning. And then in the second team, Class 2A, Braden Hartley. And by the way, Wheaton made it as a tight end, of course, and Hartley made it as a running back, their main offensive position. So we also have a spattering of offensive and defensive players. We can make a team out of these guys.
Yeah, 15. I know, right?
How good do you think we'd be if we made a team out of these guys?
Pretty good.
We got quarterback. Yeah, we got multiple. We got a quarterback, a lot of running backs. Be a heavy run team, I think, but who's going to throw it to Max then? Yeah. Anyway, so we'll have to have Hoback off to
we'll have to
sling it around a little bit. Yeah. 15 names. That's awesome for our area. We'd probably go back, and this is the first time they've had only 2 teams per class. But I would assume it's right up there with the most we've had. So
it's got to be.
Yeah, and that writes the book on football season until our all-union football teams come out, which we'll probably talk about on the show when they come out anyway. So
we'll probably get that figured out early next week, I'd say. And
exciting.
We might be able to talk about it next week.
Yeah, little Thanksgiving football.
Yeah.
What a week. This is my favorite. We were talking real quick before we get to merch. We were talking about how this is my favorite week of the year, Thanksgiving football.
Get to eat a lot, watch some football.
Getting on to the Iowa game against Nebraska on Friday night. By the way, this will be the first time that former Mount Pleasant prep Henry Lutowski will be playing against the Hawkeyes. He didn't go live playing time last year as redshirt freshman. He will be playing against the Hawkeyes. So watch for him on the offensive line, number 59. So a little exciting news.
Big Ten championship on the line.
Big Ten championship on the line somehow for the Hawkeyes. That's exciting. Don't know how that's even a thing, but if they beat Nebraska on Friday, if they beat Henry, if they can knock out Henry, they can go to the Big Ten championship.
Then one of the biggest games of the year, Michigan, Ohio State.
And then after that, we'll have to focus on basketball, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Focus on winter sports and basketball after this last commercial. This is the 1-minute commercial. So come back if you're ready for some basketball and you've been, maybe for football teams, been 2 minutes, just getting 2 minutes. If your football team's been knocked out for a long time and you're tired of us talking about Waco and Sigourney Keota, and you're like, let's get on to basketball season, that's exactly what we're going to do in a couple minutes. So stay with us for a couple minutes, pay attention to these sponsors, and we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Protection is important, especially when you're talking about your dreams, which is why we're going to keep you covered with plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. That's protection.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656.
Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. They caught me looking at other spots the last two times the cameras got on me, so I made sure to get back on it. We are here on a Tuesday, and we're doing our Thanksgiving special. If you're watching this on Washington Live's YouTube or on our Twitter, southeastiowaunion.com. Sorry, that's not true. That's our website. Our Twitter @Union Sports page. You can watch it from the YouTube there or Washington Live Facebook. Fairfield Live Facebook, Mount Pleasant Live Facebook. If you are, no matter where you're watching it, please share it around a little bit. We need to challenge Fairfield people because the Fairfield Live Facebook, they could just be watching on YouTube.
Right.
But the Fairfield Live Facebook has less likes than the Washington and Mount Pleasant. So a challenge this week, Fairfield people to just click the little like button. And now I feel like I'm a YouTuber. But like and subscribe. Smash that like and subscribe button.
It, yeah.
Share it around. So
Where they do that thing where it's like, you see this little button right here? I don't know which side it'd be on, but
yeah, it's like, right. Can we supersede like a subscribe thing? No, because we're live. You can't supersede stuff when we're live, right, Nick? Thumbs down? No. Subscribe button. No, not really. Look how he was trying to for a second. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit of winter sports.
Yeah.
And Hunter, you have gotten a good amount of winter sports especially last night. So we're going to talk about first. Last night you were at Fairfield's Hall of Pride game.
It was called the Achieve Scrimmage.
Achieve Scrimmage. Okay, There we go. Against Notre Dame. How'd it go?
Yeah, Fairfield walked out of there with a 70-49 victory. Teams were pretty close to start. Out of the gate, Fairfield jumped out 3-0, and then Notre Dame made it 8-5. That was their largest lead, and a minute later, and that was their only lead. And after one, Fairfield led 18-10, and then it was 35-28 at the half, and Fairfield pretty much just dominated the second half. Heading into the fourth, they led 50-35, and as I say, the rest is history. I mean, the Trojans, it took them a little while to get going. They struggled on the offensive boards in the first half. They were giving up some offensive boards, and it seemed they really kind of got it figured out in that second.
Yeah.
Really just dominated in all facets of the game. Really got to the rim well, and Max Wheaton was doing his thing. Tate Allen was hitting threes like normal. JJ Lane off the dribble is one of the best. One of the best in the conference. They've got some shooters around them. We were talking about last year with we mentioned those three a lot because they're kind of leading leaders. They're like a big three almost.
They're like big three.
We talked about them a lot, but they played well last night, so we'll see how old Mick Flattery squad does this season.
This is the year for Fairfield, in my opinion. This is the year when they should be. They're all seniors. A lot of other teams lost a lot. Hunter Sassini got hurt during football season, so Fairfield did lose something too. It's not like they're 100% back from last year, but they bring the most back. They've shown over the last couple of years that they were kind of right on that edge. Last year it was basically a coin flip every SEC game, but they were kind of right on that edge the last couple of years of the top teams in the conference. Mount Pleasant lost a couple starters, but they look good. We got a report on their game up at the Mid-Prairie Jamboree against Wilton. They won that. They were up, what did I say earlier? 26-9 after one quarter. They have their whole backcourt back. So they have a lot returning, and both Fairfield and Mount Pleasant were both in that little second tier. Well, last year they're hardly tiers, right? Burlington, Fort Madison, and Washington were the 3 that did the best, but everyone kind of beat everyone a little bit.
Who was Mount Pleasant's big man?
DeJuan Trent. You're talking about DeJuan Trent?
Well, not DeJuan.
Nate Stroud.
Nate Stroud.
Yep.
I've seen him at the rec putting in a lot of work. So
yeah,
I've been interested to see because they haven't had like a true big man. You know what I mean? Like they had
DeJuan kind of did everything.
He was kind of like their main forward, but he wasn't like a true, kind of down in the paint type of guy. He was athletic and he could sky jam it pretty well. Saw that firsthand. And but it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of deal with he was kind of a main part of their offense. How they're going to change during the season, or how they're going to have to kind of adjust without him being in there. But as you said, they got the backcourt and they got some great guards. So
and Stroud will be big when they play against Fairfield because that's going to be the person who tries to contain Max Wheaton a little bit. Because Wheaton is just so much bigger and stronger than everybody down low that's such a huge advantage for Fairfield. And then there's size everywhere because Washington. I took their team pictures, so I got to watch them practice a little bit. They have obviously Ethan Patterson back and seemingly looking healthy, at least shooting around the other day. He's going to get as many shots as anybody else in the Southeast Conference. One of the best players the last few years. But also the 6 triplets were coming off the bench and had some spot starts last year. They'll probably be scooted right into the lineup, and that's some height. If they have all 3 of them at the same time, that's some height in 3 positions for Washington. So it'll be the battle of the boards this year. I don't think in the Southeast Conference that. Why did I try and mess with my mic there? I could have screwed something up. I don't know with the Southeast Conference if there will be a game that's not. There's not going to be a game where you go and you're like, oh, so-and-so's playing so-and-so, this one's over, it's whatever, I'll be home,
everyone's
home early,
honey.
Close. Everything is going to be close. It's up for grabs. Fairfield, in my opinion, should be the favorite based on who they have back, but it's going to be a dogfight, I think.
Well, and it's like, last year we kind of would go into it. People had some big, senior classes, and like Fort Madison was just loaded with seniors.
Big time. Washington had a really good senior class.
And so, it's really open for anyone this season.
Yeah. And then just jump in, we to the boys Super Conference. Boys will be kicking off here pretty soon, and I think that's a little bit of the opposite. I think of our teams. And the Super Conference will be pretty heavy favorites. Waco, Winfield, Mount Union, New London all have a ton back. New London with Porter and Benjamin is. Those 2 alone, having those 2 back with now 3 years of varsity experience, they'll be one of the favorites in the South.
Waco returns like everyone.
Winfield basically returns everyone.
They got some length. We saw some photos of them dunking on Twitter.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that the Waco and Winfield games, not only boys basketball, but girls basketball, in my opinion, just looking at the rosters and stuff, and there could be a freshman, little Michael Jordan out there that I don't know about this playing for Wappler or somebody that we aren't covering. But I think that those could be the North Championship when Winfield goes Waco and Waco goes Winfield. So
sure.
that'll be exciting also.
Yeah.
And speaking of girls basketball, I was going to ask you, you've seen a little girls basketball. In fact, you saw Winfield. You saw Winfield New London the other day. How's the girls basketball season going so far?
Yeah, the open season, obviously, Winfield's ranked 15th in the preseason poll. So, the Wolves were one of the best in our area last season. Though they traveled over to New London to open the season, and always a good little rivalry between the Tigers and Wolves. And Winfield pretty much took care of business in it. 154-24. Out the gate, the Wolves just seemed like they had a little edge. I mean, they returned pretty much every starter.
Yep. Just lost one.
Melina Epping and Keely Malone and Brady Buffington were just dominant, which they've been stellar for them. All through high school.
Yep.
But Winfield led 17-5 after the first, and then 25-11 after this at half, and then 42-17 after heading into the fourth, and then pulled out the win late. So Winfield's looking good. They picked up a win on Saturday night. I'll run through the girls roundup from our area teams this past weekend.
Yep.
A lot of teams play on Saturday. Winfield beat Centrally 57-33. There's 2-0 to start. Highland beat Keota, 2 of our teams there, 53-17.
Yep.
Oskaloosa beat Pekin 45-37. And Davis County beat New London. New London another loss 70-28. And Iowa Valley beat Highland 44-40. And then Hillcrest Academy was beaten by Tri-County 45-30. And then Kyoto lost to Lone Tree 28-26. So the girls' action picking up here before Thanksgiving, and this week, the end of this week, it will slow down a little bit, pick back up next week. So
it will. I actually got to see a few of those teams you just mentioned at the Jamboree last week. Winfield Mount Union played Mount Pleasant, which was really close and really fun because it was one of those things where you don't see them play very often. And Winfield's defense was It was great to see Winfield's defense. Against Mount Pleasant, they've got Andrea Loprado, who averaged, one of the top scorers the last couple of years, an All-Stater. And Winfield actually beat Mount Pleasant in that half by 1 point. And it was kind of a fun little thing in that half of Jamboree. And I also saw Highland. Highland's dealing with not only graduations but injuries and stuff this year, and they had to play against Keokuk. It was Keokuk's got to be the worst team to play at the beginning of the season because they'll do the full court press, Jamboree or not, and they pressed them a lot. And Highland got off to a bad start, and then they kind of got a little more comfortable. I'm not sure. I think talked last week about it. That Sarah Burton looked strong as usual, and Jessica Krause down low.
27 points in that. I go back and check, but I didn't read the stats. But I believe she had 27 points in that win against.
Wow, 27 points. Yeah, and I'm sure she's got a bunch of rebounds too.
Yeah,
they'll be a good
like
rebounding team this year. Highland will.
She had double.
That'll be a fun team. Outside of, as I said, Waco and Winfield are the favorites in girls basketball, and in the North. Let's see, Highland could be a problem. Mediapolis is gone, but Highland's got athletes to be a problem for them. And let's see, Hillcrest Academy grew last year a little bit. Same with Columbus, had some younger kids, but they both lost some seniors too. So it'll be fun to see who steps up.
In the South, there's some great teams that we don't cover too.
The Burlington teams.
I believe Notre Dame is 14th, so right ahead of Winfield, and then West Burlington was great last year, and they returned quite a bit too.
Yeah.
So there's some good teams and some pretty good teams we don't cover in the South that, and we'll get a chance to go against our great North team. So.
And team that's not in either of those conferences, I will actually be watching Fairfield host Mid Prairie tonight.
Mid Prairie one game from state last year, so.
Yeah, one game from state last year, right? And I'm sure Amara Jones will be she'll be the person to watch tonight because Maddie Noneman graduated. Amara Jones will be the leading returner there for Mid Prairie, and it is a exciting time to see what Fairfield's got. Fairfield, you talk about losing seniors. They lost basically the whole team. Savannah Hollander and Maddie Jones, the only ones that really bring a lot of minutes from last year. And
Lisk.
And Ashlyn Lisk
played quite a bit.
And none of them really bring they weren't starting and playing the whole game, but they were in and out. Hollander a couple times was the leading scorer last year, I think. She had an interview at least once, so it'll be exciting to see if they can. That's going to be two teams that are kind of finding themselves a little bit.
And Washington, they bring back pretty much everybody.
Yeah. Washington brings back pretty much everybody. They will play at Anamosa tonight at a 6 o'clock game, and then Mount Pleasant will be at home tonight. Also, they will be playing Pella, so Mount Pleasant's got their hands full tonight. They always play Pella right off the bat.
I know, right out the gate.
So I don't know when that changes up, but if there was a year that Mount Pleasant was going to beat them or give them a game at least, they're senior led this year too. So I wanted to mention before we go or go into our next journey of this Thanksgiving feast here. Girls wrestling also kicked off this weekend. There will be a lot of girls wrestling tournaments over the weekends. Mid Prairie, out of, let's see, what were there? 19 teams. We're at this BGM tournament this weekend. Mid Prairie, 118 points, team champions. So that's a huge start for Mid Prairie, who's got to be the most. The girls wrestling team that, in my opinion, has the most potential because they had so many kids even last year and now it's sanctioned, so it'd be fun.
Well, I think we should also mention is if you're interested is Iowa Wesleyan girls are they got defending national champion Hidalgo Nwamka. I never say her name right, but she's number 1 rated in the country, I believe.
So got Mia Palumbo back this year.
Like number 3 in the country.
Elena
Sunland's like number 6 in the country. It's like, they're doing some good things over there. And the boys are looking real good too. Got some former Union talent. Area athletes wrestling for this year.
Won his first match. Columbus WMU kids. So so it'll be exciting. Wrestling's just kicking off. As I said, the girls, Highland was there, Mount Pleasant was there, Waco was there, and Pekin was there. So we got a story about that. If you want to look at some girls wrestling results, and it's busy. It's going to be busy for you and I because we've got some magazines to do, and we've got some all Union area teams to get out, and we still got all districts. We still got some more all district stuff to put out in the paper. So I can't stressing about it. I better eat something.
Yeah, better eat some breadsticks.
Yeah. Before we go, it's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We all have to say what we're thankful for. Hunter, do you have anything that you're thankful for this year? It doesn't have to be sports.
Just thankful for family, man. You know,
I like it.
Thankful for living another day. How about that?
Living another day. Living another day. I don't know, Nick. Do you want to say what you're thankful for?
You bringing breadsticks?
Breadsticks. Oh, really? You slept past breakfast today. Did you have a good big lunch, or did you have like a little snacky lunch?
I had a salad.
There you go.
There we go. That was huge then.
Yeah.
Bringing the breadsticks. So I'm talking with my mouth full, but whatever. I'm thankful for all that stuff. But more than anything,
What are you gonna say?
I'm thankful for our readers and our viewers.
Oh, man.
That watch the show every week.
Yeah,
Religiously,
that's a good one.
that probably were crying a couple weeks ago because we weren't on the air because Waco had that football game. And they were probably excited when they saw that tweet today that we were going a day
I know.
early. So thankful for all of you guys.
Yep.
It's Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the food and family and
Yep.
football and all that other stuff.
Be safe.
Be safe. Yeah, be safe.
Yep.
It's nice out today.
Yep.
But be safe. And then we will see you
Yeah.
in
next
about 8
week.
days,
Yeah,
next week, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll tweet it out if it's different.
Yeah.
So see you later, guys.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.